Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to NFL Fan Pub video number 9, and this video is going to focus all about player predictions, and it's going to be the first of several videos, I hope, about what I believe players will achieve in the forthcoming 2015 NFL season. And there is no better place to start than looking at some of the new raw talent, the new rookies coming in. So that's what we're going to do. Before we start today's video, I just want to thank all the subscribers that we've had. We've actually gone above 10 subscribers, got 12 subscribers, and most of the videos now are receiving 50 views each time, which is fantastic considering we've only been doing this for such a short period of time. My hope is that within a couple of months we will double the subscriber numbers to somewhere around about 25, and our videos will be receiving over 100 views every time we put them out there. That really will be something. So please keep sharing, please keep commenting, and whatever you do, please keep giving the big thumbs up. Anyway, thank you. I just wanted to say that at the end of this video. Thank you. So let's start by looking at two of the most exciting running back prospects coming into the NFL this year. We have Todd Gurley, who's gone to the Rams, and Melvin Gordon, who went to San Diego. Now, I want to start with Melvin Gordon. But before I do, I think it's important to give a little proviso out. And simply put, that's this. No matter what anybody says, including myself, if you believe something as a fantasy player, as a fantasy coach, then you must back your own hunches. That's absolutely critical. But what I am going to do, I'm always going to try and give you information and fact that when you come back and look at it after the season is finished, you will either say this guy is a fantasy guru or he is not good enough. So I can't be any fairer than that. So I'm really pummeling out there. I'm going to put information out there on players that I strongly believe this is what will happen. And also, if there is, because there will be several of these videos, I'm sure, before the season starts, if you want to see a particular duo matchup or a couple of players you want interested in the analysis on, then please do let me know, and I'll be happy to do that in a follow-up video. So let's start with these guys. So what do I believe? I believe that Melvin Gordon has the perfect opportunity. I apologise, I will be looking slightly off screen occasionally as well in this video. I've made a couple of notes from my metric system that I use, and I will occasionally be looking off camera, so I do apologise, but it's very important to let you know that. But I strongly believe with Melvin Gordon that he has the perfect opportunity. I mean, it's the team want him. It's a good fit. He's obviously one of the standout running backs of the draft, and he has the perfect situation. So putting your head in the game, forget your heart, opportunity is there for him to do very well. I think he will be used as a three-down back, which is always a great sign, and he doesn't really have anybody else threatening him. So all those things point to a very good season. If I have to estimate the low-end sort of production that you would expect from Melvin Gordon, I would estimate it as follows. Round about 160, 163 fantasy points he should generate, and that's somewhere around about 1,100 yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns is quite realistic. He has an upside as well. He could go above 200 fantasy points. It's not inconceivable based on the metrics I've seen. This guy could have an amazing year, one that even the experts can't predict, and could push him up to 233, 230 if you will, fantasy points. So a tremendous player with a lot of upside given the opportunities, and it wouldn't surprise me that he at least reaches that lower benchmark. So he's a very good player, great opportunity. Where is he going in drafts? Well, in 16-man drafts, he's really going towards the end of about round 2, and that's probably about right. He is an RB2 caliber candidate, remembering he is a rookie. I've seen him occasionally drop into round 3 in a 16-man, but very, very rare indeed. And then we need to look, of course, at Todd Gurley of the Rams. Now, this is a very interesting player that throws up a lot of interesting conundrums, and I'll try and quickly explain those. First one is he is the most talented, naturally gifted runner in the entire draft. No doubt about that, but that was, of course, before the injury. He's coming back from one of the more serious injuries you can have. And although there are good signs pointing towards him being able to start training camps, and what sort of impact he'll have at the beginning of the year, I personally believe, given all the rumours and various things that are going on behind the scenes, the Rams will not really use him very much before week 6 when they have their bye week, and I would expect him after their bye, to come back. I think it's week 6 actually. He'll be able to come back before he can actually start producing some fantasy gold for your football team. Now, anybody that knows me knows putting my head in the game, take my heart out of it, although I love the guy, I think it's great, I'm a Rams fan, fantasy-wise, how can I afford to sit in a 16-man draft? You might be lucky if you've got 12 or 10-player drafts to be able to take him as a third or fourth running back, but in a 16-player draft, that'd be very unlikely. You're going to really struggle to find 3 or 4 quality running backs for sure. So I don't like having players that sit there for X amount of weeks not producing points. My season could be over before he becomes any good. I'm convinced in the long run, another year down the line, yeah, he could be fantastic. I do actually predict him to get round about 150 fantasy points to as high-end side as 211. Even on a shortened season, that's how much faith I have in him doing well. But there are a few things that worry me, and it's important to keep your head in the game. If you're not liking what you're hearing, then don't go for him, depending on the strategy you're going to choose. So that's the first tail of the tape, if you will. Let's look at two. So let's look next at the two best wide receivers coming into the NFL this year, perceived by all experts. That's Amari Cooper, who's gone to the Raiders, and Kevin White, who's gone to Chicago. This is an interesting tail of the tape, this one. The second part, when we talk about Kevin White, I'm going to have to show you something, so it's going to have to make a little bit more sense. But Amari Cooper is my favourite wide receiver coming in of this current crop of wide receivers, as best as I can tell. I predict that he'll have somewhere in the range of about 130 to 156 high-end side fantasy points. That's around about 900 to 950 yards. Obviously a bit more if he does higher than the 130. 6 to 7 touchdowns is where I see him to be. It could be more, but the team he's in is developing. Derek Carr, I like Derek Carr as quarterback. I think the running game of the Raiders is pretty shot. It's still a very much as a process here. It's a building process to get everything right. But I think Amari Cooper is a step in the right direction. I think next year, it'll be interesting to see what he does next year. This year, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for him in a tough offense. They will be throwing the ball a lot. There's no doubt about it, because I think their running game is actually pretty shocking, actually. But we'll see how it all translates for him. But he's without a doubt my favourite player coming in of the wide receiver crop. Now we need to look at Kevin White, and for that I'm going to have to show you something. Now we come on to Kevin White. I have massive concerns about Kevin White. A lot of the experts are really high on him. Oh boy, are they predicting big things for him in year one. I'm very cautious here. I have very serious concerns. You see, the thing that a lot of these experts aren't really doing, I think, is really following the research through. They're looking, in this particular case, at the opportunity. Obviously, Alshon Jeffrey is there, Brandon Marshall is gone, so they're assuming that this really talented kid is going to come in and take the slot of Brandon Marshall, and because of all the opportunities going to be there because of Jay Cutler, Matt Forte, etc., he's going to carry on producing at a high level. And in theory, with the right, if Amari Cooper had gone there, I would have massive good things to say in this situation. But that's not the case. And the reason why there's a rub in this particular position on Kevin White is as follows. And I'm going to have to demonstrate this. Now, you might notice from the intro, I use what's called the wide receiver tree. I just wanted you to visualise that, but I'm going to show you how we used to use it back in the day here. The old football, you see. I would, as a quarterback, literally in the huddle, point to my receivers what I wanted to do. 5 yards out, all the way go. You know, I want you to work 20 yards down the field and slant back towards me on that side. You know, that's how we used to do it. But it's a tree, a wide receiver tree is what it really was. And the reality is what you're looking for from a receiver is obviously every receiver will know the tree, but you need to be able to execute it. So if someone wants you to go 5 yards and cut back, you have to be able to get off that line, fake that maneuver and be in the right place. And this is the rub that he has. He doesn't have the full grip of the tree. And a lot of receivers coming out of college these days, they do, the good ones, they do have that. And that's why they're able to translate it into very good fantasy production from year one. Now, I think Kevin White is going to be a fantastic wide receiver, more likely year 2/3, when they've had a year in the pros to work with him. But in year one, I'm incredibly cautious. I'm very worried about his situation, because if you can't work that wide receiver tree, you've got a real issue on your hand, to be honest, in the NFL. It's like a quarterback coming in with some broken mechanic. You know how that never translates in the NFL. The same with a wide receiver, really, to be honest with you. So I predict Kevin White will get somewhere around about 100 fantasy points, a high-end side of maybe a late 130s, maybe. But I'm very cautious here. 680, 750 yards, 4 to 5 touchdowns. I predict bigger things for him in the future. And I hope you understand the reasons why I've gone down this route. Okay, now, all that leads me to do is say, this has been the first video, of course, of player comparisons. If there are players you would like information on, the tail of the tape, the insider scoop, if you will, then please do let me know. We will have follow-up videos that will cover just that. Anyway, I've been Sean Connors. This has been NFL Fan Pub, video number 9. all about player projections. Take care of yourself and happy fantasy gaming, and see you soon.